Okay, people, we're gonna come for Havoc number 2. No, this video is not about size. I just had to do that to get that out the way. So I've been watching a lot of Marvel movie theory things and stuff like that versus like comic book issues and shit like that. So this video is a theory video because I'm old school Marvel. I kind of stopped reading as the new millennium came in. So like about 2010, 2011 were like the last time I ever actually picked up a comic in the current continuity. So anything before the 2000s, I will go back and buy. Anything after that, not happening. No. And my titles, mostly were X-Men and Spider-Man and Guardians of the Galaxy. Before Quill and all those guys that your generation knows. So my question for Marvel, it's a really important question. I don't know when this happened. So either I blinked or I wasn't paying attention because I did read like Avengers who had solo comics. I didn't really read Hawkeye or Scarlet Witch. I did read Thor. I did read Captain America. I did read Spider-Man, as I said before. I did read certain people's solo characters. Like certain people were Avengers. They had their solo comics. I read a certain one of those. No, I did not read Black Panther. My titles were mostly team ones, and if the team ones had like solo things, like Night Thrasher got the original Night Thrasher, Dwayne Taylor, he got a miniseries. So I read it was like he had two of them actually, because one was 6 comics and one was 4 comics. And then I did, like I said, I read Thor, and I read Thunderstrike, like a little bit of it because it was just a miniseries. I read U.S. Agent because it was a miniseries, and the guys that went solo, I read some of their cuts because I was only a fan of certain Avengers. I was never really a big Iron Man fan. I liked Iron Man, but I wasn't like dying to have him because I'm more X-Men. Anything in the X-Men title line, I can tell you, I'll read the hell out of them because I can relate to them. Now, and Spider-Man. But, that, everything I just said is now a footnote in this video. This video is about continuity issues from where I stand as a comic fan from 77, because I was born in 73. So from 77 to like early 2000s, when the hell could gods die? When the hell were gods not as powerful as universal beings? Because at one time in the Marvel Universe, there was nothing more powerful than the gods. You had the Olympic gods and you had the Asgardian gods, and they were the most powerful of all the realms. Until they introduced you into like the one above all and all that, who was supposed to be the creator of all life in the universe or whatever. But before you even knew him, you knew about eternity and time and death and oblivion and all them. But the gods were even more powerful than them at one time. And I want to know, before the Infinity Gauntlet, because they had Infinity Watch first, then they had Infinity War. And Infinity Watch, I think that was like maybe 13 books. I can't remember. I had some of them. I didn't get all of them because if it didn't cross over into the X-Men, I wasn't trying to read it. I checked them out when I was in the store. I glanced at them. I know a lot about the Infinity War because the X-Men did have a part in the Infinity War. But as far as like a big role, they had a bigger part in the Secret Wars than they did in the Infinity War. Okay, and same with Civil War. Then so they didn't really have much to do with Civil War. They didn't have much to do with the Infinity War, like talking about it, or Infinity Watch. But some X-Men were involved in that for continuity purposes, not the MCU, but for the comic book purposes before all these retcons and shit started happening. When did gods become mortal? Because when I was reading them, and when did Thor stop being the strongest of the gods? Because in the annuals, I have an annual that was made like a Sports Illustrated book. And in that book, Thor was stronger than the Hawk, as the Hawk struggled to pick up 5,000 pounds, or 5,000 tons, and Thor picked up 20,000 tons. So I'm like, okay, well, he's a god, and Hawk's just a man who turns big and green, and the angrier a Hawk gets, the stronger he gets. But he's still no match for Thor in comparison. So I don't know when that conundrum happened. But I don't know when God stopped being the most powerful people. In essential, this is a two-part video because I want you guys to think about what I'm saying. As far as we know, for those who are religious and you're watching, nothing is more powerful than a God. You know, that in itself, a God is immortal. Now see, I'm going to get into that in the next video because this video I'm going to end it right here. Depending on your religious beliefs, you know, whether it be of Native American beliefs, Eastern European, Eastern Asian, because they do Buddhist, Indians from Asia who do Hindu and all that other stuff. Depending on your religious beliefs, the only thing that made the gods cease to exist was our belief in them. In the twilights of the gods fought the gods. But before that, the gods fought the Titans, who were the parents of the gods. Don't ask. That's just Greek mythology. And, you know, everybody's religion is different. In the Scandinavian, with the Asgardians, they're not descendants of Titans. They've always been gods. Or not. I could be getting that wrong. I'm not a Scandinavian. But, you know, each thing has a different thing. And, you know, Marvel taking bits of mythology and truth and turning them into these policies. Well, when did the gods become mortal? And when gods die, where do they go? Because in Asgard, Asgard's always talked about when gods die, if gods can die, they always went to Valhalla. So I'm thinking, if you're a god, can't you just go to Valhalla without dying? But apparently, this isn't logic. So I'm ending this right here, and I'm going into a longer second video. Alright, I'm James Williams Jr. Be seeing you.